It cut off on me a second ago. The principal locus of the debate, however, was in the courts from the first prerequisite case in 1878 until racial restrictions were removed in 1952. Research the Wilmington's White Man's Constitution. Research that, y'all. It was reported, including two heard by the U.S. Supreme Court, framing fundamental questions about who could join censory in terms of who was white. These cases attracted some of the most renowned jurists of the time, such as John Wigmore, as well as some of the greatest experts on race, including Franz Boas. Wigmore, now famous for his legal treatise, published a law review article in 1894 asserting that Japanese immigrants were eligible for citizenship on the grounds that the Japanese people were anthropologically and culturally white. How? But not you. Boas today prerequisites case as an expert witness on behalf of the American applicant, who he regarded was white. Y'all brothers, man, need to wake up. We need to wake up. We need to wake up. I'll give you a little bit more. Consider A. Leon Henning Bothman Jr.'s classic study in the matter of color, race, and the American legal process, The Colonial Period, 1978, and Derek Bell's equally classic case book, Race, Racism, and American Law. Also got books Life, Liberty, and the Pursuit of Happiness by man, I forget his name, but he wrote a whole bunch of books on all this stuff. All this stuff be studied at Harvard, which I had the pleasure to study and get all the documents given to me, and I bring it back to my people. I bring it back to my people. Both works provide exhaustive, meticulous research and invaluable studies of the legal burdens imposed on blacks in North America over the few centuries. Yet in both works, black and white are treated as natural categories rather than as a concept, yet in both works. As a concept created through social and at least particularly through legal interaction between peoples, not intentionally racially defined in those terms. The discussion in the books of the arrival of the first Africans in the colonial North America exemplified this tendency. Just like they try to promulgate some 1619. They try to promulgate some 1619. I even saw Spike Lee, no disrespect, at a game with some 1619. That's the most bull crap. And then they be trying to discredit Jane Elliott, when Jane Elliott be trying to tell these Negroes, well, in 1619, the so-called first blacks didn't come over out of no slaves, smart guy. And they be mad. And they be mad because they got an agenda. They want to discredit anybody that come with wisdom, but you can't discredit wisdom. I'm telling you, you can't. This is peer-reviewed research. A lot of our brothers and sisters, just because they got some money, don't know history. They ain't study it. The powers that be know that. We support celebrities and basketball players. Everybody jump behind Kyrie. We the Hebrew. He a Hebrew. Now he a Muslim and don't even know his own history. Don't even know. But that's what we do. That's what we do. It's a game. It's a game. Higginbotham writes in 1619. Why nobody talking about this in 1619? I have his books. He wrote it in 1619. He said when the first 20 blacks arrived in Jamestown, even when I got the information, the free Hebrews of Israel Hill, where it was free blacks and Hebrews fighting for their rights in court next to their fellow European. But they arrived in Jamestown. There was not yet a statutory process to especially fix the legal standing of blacks. Just like when I talk about the Benin. When I'm gonna show y'all all these religious people, they be mad because if you're a scientist, if you know what I'm talking about, you connected and you Melchizedek and you down with the brotherhood, you're gonna teach the biblical scriptures and connect it all the way back to where it come from. It's just what it is. I don't care what name you use. I can say, oh, you're talking about this. Oh, you're talking about this. Oh, you're talking about this. Yep. I know you are. See? And for his part, Bell quotes the following passages from the Kerner Commission. Write this down. In colonial America, the first Negroes landed at Jamestown in August 1619. Within 40 years, Negroes had become a group apart, separate from the rest of the population by customs and laws. Sounds like the religious rights of the indigenous people, don't it? Treated as servants for life, forbidden in intermarrying. Sound like the black Christian codes, don't it? Intermarrying with whites, deprived of their African tradition. The religious rights of the indigenous people. You got the right to do this. You got the right to do this. And dispersed among southern plantations. American Negroes lost tribal, religion, and family ties. And when I talk about the 5 free tribes, you can let a Negro or someone that don't look like you come with the cap, and I'm explaining history to you. What was explained with the eyewitnesses, and we still playing the game. It said you lost it. So if you lost some, what? It's resurrected. So if it's resurrected, if I say you lost some, it's proof where it was at. I'm telling you, it's nothing hidden. All this stuff I've been showing y'all in first century, all these documents I've been showing y'all on my Facebook page, all this. Come on. Like my professor said, and all these students, you still ain't viral? No, it takes the people. Share it. Like you say, ain't nobody sharing this stuff. I have all the anything you see on TikTok, the information, I got it for you. I got the documents for you. You don't got to beg nobody for nothing. These pages are striking because of manner. Gratitude for the donation. Yep, it's my phone number. But of the manner in which blacks, Negroes, and whites seem to exist as pre-legal givens, groups that interacted socially and legally, but that in all significant respects possess identities not dependent on their social and legal interaction. In Higginbotham's study, those African men who were forced onto American shores in 1619, Bismarck already possessed a black identity. Similarly, in Bell's casebook, the Africans who were brought to Jamestown only a year after the Pilgrims had landed on Plymouth Rock arrived already Negroes in a way that attributed to them the same identity as the passages. Later terms African American, which is misnomers. But in the first Bible, in the 1599 Geneva Bible, because the 1599 Geneva Bible, that's what they converted to Great. What is it? I think it's the Great Bible. It comes from the 1599 Geneva Bible. So if they used the same language or the vernacular, why they didn't keep blackamoors in there when they describing the people of you? Because it's in the 1599 Geneva Bible. Research it in all Jeremiah. I'm trying to tell you. And in your regular Bible, is so many books that quote books that's took out, like the book of Yasher, as a prerequisite. But neither work seems to recognize that the very racial categories under examination were largely created by the legal and social relations. I can go on and on and on, but I want to stop right there. I want to stop right there on that. On that part. I have something else. Okay, it's right there. Okay. Yeah. Any questions? Any questions? Any questions? Like I said, anybody on here, I'm going to keep holding up these books because when I'm done, today the sale is over. You can't say I didn't try to give you something for a good price. You can't say your brother didn't try to offer you these 2 ebooks for a $50 donation. And you see, we can print them and bind them like this. My Mufti's bindedbooks.com. Or you can go to Office Max and Staples and they'll print them and bind them like this. Look at the value of these books, brothers. Because after today, it's a wrap. And my people are lost due to a lack of knowledge because we refuse to learn. Nobody can say, I don't hear, and I'm not here and I don't share everything, because everything that I speak on, I have it for you. Nobody can say nothing when I'm done. Nothing. And brothers going to fall in the rapture once again. I'm telling you, it's happening now. Because you got brothers that's promulgating that black, and we finna get reparations. No Negro, color, or African Americans finna get no damn reparations. Get Ben Crump, the attorney, and I guarantee you, he'll be like, that brother is telling you the truth. According to science and law, black is death. Civil to mortis. I ain't saying it ain't beautiful, but you cooked. Black has no rights in the standing of law. Facts. Facts. Everybody know our nationality before 1492. You know it. Stevie Wonder tell you, in 1492, you fell upon our shores, 700 years, educated by the Moors. Now we're talking about language. We talk about modern, just like you get these brothers that say Africa was named after a European. No, it wasn't. I already lectured this on the college campus. Okay, if we want to call Moors, that's great. We say Amazigians, the name we call ourselves. It's nothing attached to Moor is evil, but it be on our own people that want to come with the game. They say the Moor did this, the Moor did this, because they're not historically factual on things. We were called a lot of things before 1492, depending on your native tongue. Depending on your native tongue, just like I broke down how the tribe Judah had 4 different names. Just like the continent of Africa had different names, depending on the tribal name. You know? And it's only facts. And that's why I don't be here to argue with no one. People have to just admit that they're limited in their wisdom and they in a certain part of history. That's all. That's all I'll be telling people. Because I don't no reason for me to argue. I tell everybody to go argue with your kid's teacher and with those promulgating that bull crap in your city. Why are we debating me? I already done this in academia. It's our people that lost. Because people will try to attack me. And I'll be laughing. With all my European Masons to tell you that they are son of a Muslim, all the misnumbered black Masons to tell you they some widow's son. When I show y'all the European Scottish Rite Mason giving credit to Noble Drew Ali on his 135th birthday, I done broke all this down. I show y'all all documents and everything, all this stuff, and we still lost, and we still playing the game. Sad, sad. So I know the games that our brothers play. I know the Freemasons. I know the brothers that's under that Christian dome. I know who the pro-right black brothers is. I know who the Greek fraternity Negroes that Steve Coakley showed you that the Greek is a fraud. It ain't no disrespect. They don't study and read stolen legacy. You know? But contrary to training and gross miseducation and in public schools and most American studies, you think the Emancipation Proclamation of 1863, it did not free a single Negro, black, and colored. Because remember, I go all the way back now before this. I'm just setting the precedent. I'm just setting the precedent. Let me show you something. Let's see if I can pull this up. Here, let me see. Let me see. I got so many documents, man. Let's see. Okay, so I'll just show y'all this right here. Can y'all see this? What that say? Somebody type on what do you see right there, brothers and sisters? What do you see right there? It says 1838. 1838. Now, I'm talking now. I love our prophet Noble Drew Ali. I love all brothers and sisters. I'm in exude of the nation. If brothers want a copy of this, you can get this from me for a fraction of the price as well. That's why I tell people, I've been through the fire. Just like when I be showing y'all the rose and the cross, see, people diss wisdom. That's why I deal with wisdom. I have to. We let other people discredit our scholars, but then when other people that have done things, you like them for their science and all they this, and that, and the other, like, and we diss our wisdom brothers. I ain't into what a person done when I say Dr. York, but the wisdom is the wisdom. The wisdom is the wisdom. The science is the science. And I'm not to let nobody separate wisdom. William Yates, the rights of colored men. Most people, we didn't even know about that. That's why I said our prophet and the people in that time can only do what they can do. I'm in the flesh. I'm current. I can reach back and add value too. That's why my professors and my elders, they're like, you Bobby Hemming, you all that. You all that. An educator, you all that in the flesh. Nobody should have a problem with what you're doing. Especially if my brothers and sisters, I don't care what you promulgate, you're black, you're fraternity, you're Greek and all this, and you talk about reparations and civil rights, which is human rights, and you promoting that black stuff, black would never get no reparations if we're not going to have this conversation. And we definitely should have that conversation that we ain't no 14th Amendment slave Negroes. Why? Because in 1838, the brothers was discussing this, telling us this. Research what I'm telling you. William Yates, the rights of colored men. Research what I'm telling you. In 1838, abolitionist William Yates published the first legal treatise on the rights of free black Americans. Freedmen, aka ancient word Amazigians. Research it for yourself. Yates insisted that all free Americans were citizens who were entitled to their privileges and immunities, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. To the citizens in Article 4, Section 2, Clause 1 of the Constitution, Yates called the equal rights of citizenship relating to the persons and to things. But let me stop right there, because any lawyer will lie to you. That word person is just changing of rulership and ownership. See, we gonna fact check all this. We no, we ain't no persons. I'm gonna show you that in law too. That's just a replace of ownership. No, because in law we gonna deal specific. You ain't gonna put me in a category as a place and a thing. Understand what I'm saying? See, we educating here. We educating because there's no excuse of not knowing the law in the court of law. These is facts. Who are your legal representative that's going to represent you in your best interest? Who is competent that can bring up precedent law cases, doc number, Free Information Act, that no habeas corpus, that no quid pro quo, that no Chicago Law Review, all bias in his brain, that no precedent law cases, doc number, Free Information Act, all in his brain. Listen to what I'm saying right here. But the Section 2, Clause 1 of the Constitution, Yates called for the equal rights of citizens relating to persons and the things, his acquaintances of property by contract. So if you had a good defense like myself, I have to bring up what that person stuff is. I have to bring that up. I have to interject, and we have to discuss this person thing. You see? Of property by contract and by inheritance, and even the soil which no alien inherits, because you can't own no land if you a Negro, became law in the 1866 Civil Rights Act and became one of the fundamental principles underlying Section 1 of what? The 14th Amendment. And Negroes trying to defend the 14th Amendment? Something wrong with you. Excerpt, citizenships of person of color. Citizenship of central importance is of the foundation of key personal rights. In regard to citizenship, this is a subject of great importance and exclusion for suffrage. Just like I show you American and black and white, when the European, no disrespect, Albion, Trailer Dyke, Southern Belle cut the Asiatic hair off, suffrage, your right to vote, because you was only a 2/5 and you didn't know that, and you only voted for the other because you didn't know. I'm telling you, suffrage is a withholding of political rights only. But the question of citizenship strikes deeper. Deny a man this, and his personal rights are not safe. He may be hindered from going into a state, listen what I'm saying, or if he enters it, he may be expelled. Now, go back to the white man's constitution in Wilmington and tell me what happened to all those people that said, we black, we African American. Research the Wilmington white man's constitution. Where was that at? Carolina, South Carolina? Research what I'm telling you, brothers and sisters, and you still want to identify as a slave. Still today, sad as heck with our brothers and sisters and our leaders. I'm an educator. You ain't no educator. You a liar, ain't no truth in you. You a liar, ain't no truth in you. All that stuff can easily be destroyed. He can easily be distilled or treated as an alien. On this principle, Missouri attempted to prohibit free colored men from coming into or settling in the state on any pretext, whatever. And so in the Bible, the curse of Ham wasn't you curse your skin black, was you going to be a foreigner in your land. See, these is facts. They don't want you to know this. Yates turns to the Constitution text. The citizens of each state, what? Shall be entitled, what? To all the privileges and immunities of citizens in the several states, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, by Charles Wiseman. Life, Liberty, and the Pursuit of Happiness by Charles A. Wiseman. The Wilmington's white men's constitution. See, brother, I taught this in college. That's why I said I'm almost done with this. I cast my net out. I don't get no donations, no celebration from nobody. I got all the literature in the books. When I teach this in academia, it'd be like, wow. I'll be distributing so many books and literature for small donations. And everybody be thank you. I'll be getting letters from people, parents. That's why I say, man, we lost. And so I'm going to be done doing this real soon. It be people jump on my page just say over and over. None of them give a donation. None of them say nothing. None of them hit me up and all that. And I'm on my other platform, and all the European students, no matter what race, they hit me up. Are you coming on GCU campus? Are you going to be at the University of Arizona? Hey, can we buy this book from you? I don't get that from none of my people. None. And it's sad. So why should I continue to do something and waste my energy? Why? I done turned down jobs and everything. Why? Because it was contingent on me shutting this down. They said, you giving stuff away that we going to pay for. I'm telling you big facts. Yates turned to the Constitution. The citizenship of each state shall be entitled to all the privileges and immunities of citizens in several states. Are free African Americans entitled to the privileges and immunities of citizens protected by Article 4 of the Constitution? When it comes to fundamental rights, there is no basis for discriminating against free African Americans. Free African Americans. There is nothing to justify it in the English common law, in the British Constitution, or the Declaration of Independence. These are important and valuable privileges. Do they belong to free persons of color? If they were white, it is considered they would. If they were white, because you are white. The Spencer and Dungy case, the point then turns on a distinction of what? Color, of color. But such a distinction as the basis of fundamental rights is not recognized by the common law of England or the principles of the British Constitution, nor by our own Declaration of Independence. We are human beings and we are Americans. What type of American I am? I'm a Moorish American. I'm gonna tell you, for the record, I have every right to tell you. The Declaration of Human Rights, Article 15, clearly tell you what I have the right. I'm not here to overthrow no Constitution. I'm all in the Constitution. I'm here to defend the Constitution. All these other Moors talk about they finna expatriate from this de facto government. Then what? Then you are what? Domestic terrorists, foreign and abroad. These is facts. Hangman. Free persons of color are human beings, natives of the country. The 1828 Webster Dictionary, you get the 1820, well, I can't keep pulling all this stuff out. I got the 1828 Webster Dictionary. Somebody pull up the 1828 Webster Dictionary, and then you tell me what's the definition of an American. This is just not hard. This I'm giving a schoolmaster. Somebody pull up, you got your smartphone, ask your phone the 1828 Webster Dictionary definition of American, and type it on here and tell me what you get. You know, we have equal rights. Hold on. Here I come. Hey. Hi. I like you. It's hot in here. Now, my homeboy said, if y'all like the teachings, I'm going to say it again. 602-473-8767. Mazel connected to that. If you like it, let me know, and I'll send you some literature. What say, baby? But they have the same rights to rewards in the industry as white men. They may buy, hold, or sell, or personal estate, etc. You know? Yeah, copper color races. That's white. We're not second-class citizens. You know? Found here the Europeans. You can't find them that was already here. How can you find something that was already here that was native to the land? How? And then think about it. Then when I go to the 5 tribes, the 5 free tribes that identify, and then that also includes the El, the Bay, the Dead, the Days, the Ali. Why? Because then you connected to Empress Gostin El Bay. And when you thought the Louisiana Purchase was a purchase, but it wasn't. Think about this, brothers and sisters. As I close, well, not yet, but as I, shut up, babe. She in there, stop doing it. My wife came home in a joking mood and they're back right there dancing. But the us of the subtitle, when I talk about us, a citizen, you know, to the corporate United States, ain't nothing wrong with it, United States, and it's just what it is. If this is a business, then corporate, ain't nothing wrong with that. You know, assumed by many persons to be a sovereign independent power. But you ain't no sovereign independent sovereign nations. That's why that sovereign citizen stuff is an oxymoron. Research Roger Elvick and tell me what y'all get, brothers and sisters, because all these Negroes on the internet promulgating, oh, they some sovereign citizens and they some foreign nationals. That's an oxymoron. Our prophet ain't never told you no stupid foreign national or some autotoxin or some Indian. That ain't the language we promulgate. Those goofies that's trying to sell you some paper, some fugazi. Look up Roger Elvick and then you tell me that's not what's happening in our society right now. And then research the Paradigm Group in Canada and tell me what you get. Tell me what you get. That's why them cronies they know not to come on my page. I don't care if they Nation of Islam. I don't care if they pro-black. I don't care if they some conscious community. Man, I don't want to hear that. I don't care if you got a Fez on. I don't care. Even when the brother was alive, peace be among his soul. Them brothers from Chicago that the Moorish Consulate book and that brother call himself a sheik, got all them people to file fake taxes. Yeah. People be mad. Hey, the truth gonna make you free. I don't care. But the Declaration of Independence of the original 13 United States of America, the course of human events, they discovered that a person was bound by the laws of nature and nature's God, that they held these truths to be self-evident. All men are created equal, and their creator endows us with certain unalienable rights. Among these are what? Life, to live, liberty, the right to be free, and the pursuit of happiness. Charles A. Wiseman. The right to be content, founded. The totality of these rights became what? The Bill of Rights. The U.S. Constitution was written by the people for the people. These laws established by freeborn and free men were from living souls. I showed y'all this in history. I showed y'all the Battle of Bunker Hill that they teach your kids and they whitewash Peter Salmon and Oliver Cromwell out of it. I showed y'all what's happening in history. Come on, man. The living souls who are sovereign from the wombs of our mothers. U.S. citizens, on the other hand, are belligerents in the fields and are subject to jurisdictions. All U.S. citizens are 14th Amendment persons. I just read it, property. Implemented by Civil Rights Act of 1866, which was originally established to disguise the newly freed slaves. The only problem was that, no disrespect, European political powers of those times dug a shallow grave of fiend sensory for the ex-slaves, and they later fell into themselves. And then they fell into it. This is why, to this day, if the Americans actually knew what a U.S. citizen was according to their law, not according to what we say it is and the freedom of, but according to their law, they would really not want to be one, according to their law. And what most people fail to realize is during the drafting of this document, no disrespect, the European men age of 21 were the only people recognized in America. Women, other nationalities, and slaves were not considered as whole persons or people, at least not with rights that a European man had to respect. It takes a number of whole persons or people, at least not with rights, that a pale-skinned man had to respect. It takes a number of persons to make a people. I was written in Article 1, Section 2, Clause 3. The word person was summarized into what, y'all? Fact check me. Fifths. And 5/5 made what? One complete person. Watch this. The person as endowed by the Creator and the laws of nature was declared the whole number. Fact check me. And a free person, this endowed with the totality of fifths, made a complete and perfect person, and subsequently a citizen per se. When the USA was first formed under its constitution, its sovereignty was for and by the people, mankind. The word person was used by the people to describe their property, business, fictional beings. Person gave life to corporate American oath affidavits, notaries, self-incriminating pro se, used by straw men who like masturbating jurisdiction and prisons. Masonic members, even of the temple, are more by the first word, I am a citizen of the USA. And these words have been printed on the ID cards, but they don't know what it means. You know? They don't know. Our Prophet Noble Ali is as much different between, there is as much different between sovereign and citizens as the as amendments, freeborns, bondservants, Moorish American, Negro, church members, or unalienable rights and inalienable privileges. If the assumable citizens of the USA only knew the true legal definition of citizen, they would be tickled to the highest tictivity, or to the highest tictivity, and would never want to be a citizen in the parameters of that law. So when we deal about the 5/5 components of a natural person: spirit, soul, body, nationality, creed. Spirit, the indestructible God essence of man; soul, actions of mind, powers, thinking, reasoning, willing, understanding; body, flesh, human, vehicle, made of the earth, often indigenous to the land of birth. When you're dealing with grapes, don't they ask you the appellation when you're dealing with wine? The appellation of the grapes. Nationality, the descendant, the birth attachment through an especial, nation or tribe. Free national name, lineage, identity. Creed, religious path of God consciousness, established through what? Forefathers, vine and fig tree. So 4 and 5 is the nationality and creed. The two main fifths extracted from the African national, because George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, and many other Masonic presidents, European, Albion, Trilodyte, whatever you want to call them, they were owners and who signed the Constitution of the United States. They wrote in their chattel 3/5 of persons. Research it. And the Constitution thus became the first legal national deed of ownership of African slaves in a new nation. And this act alone legalized racism and apartheid into the interior fabric of the new American culture. And further, I don't think so, I'll check it. It politically certified all misnomer Negro, black, and colors as 3/5 of all other persons, and at the level of a beast. It's a book by a European. It's called The Negro is a Beast. I have it. I lecture this. It be packed. We don't know it. Just like the Negro is a sardine. Any man without national roots from which to draw strength and the great God for his or her guidance is no longer a complete man. I can go on and on, but my wife just got home. I'm going to stop. Oh, I'll give y'all this little bit. To attempt to remove in whole or part one or more fifth from any man is a conscious act known as simultaneously as both sin and a crime. Ironically, the United States judicial system marks this violation as a federal crime. When you're dealing with these retardo fardos on the internet, talk about they can nationalize you and denationalize you and print you some, it's a crime. Don't no man have the ability to nationalize you and denationalize you? Tell them fools on the internet to do that to a Chinese or a Sudanese. They can't, but they'll tell you that stupid stuff. And then these clowns don't have no wisdom. They just doing that to make some money. You got these Negroes and women on the internet talking about some world passport. And then they say it real fast, and Mos Def got in trouble for it. So why the hell are you on the internet promote something that Mos Def got in trouble for and was almost stuck in the continent of Africa, and you promoting this stuff to people? Knowing it's cosmetic, knowing just go get a damn passport. Retardos. I'm for real, man. We wasting our breath and our energy. It's a federal crime. It's known through the United States courts as denationalization. The irony of the crime is that it's committed manually. How? Watch this. So all these Negroes talking the 14th Amendment, watch this. Watch this. Watch this. The irony is the crime. Watch this, y'all. That is committed manually by every state. Watch this. Since the 14th Amendment became law and then written, state seal upon the live birth of every freeborn Moorish American baby. But denationalization is played off on birth certificates. When I talk about the Negro as a sardine, that's why you got to beware of lying lawyers and these brothers and sisters. Watch this. Any lawyer worth his salt of the bar exam will lie to you. Swear on his Bible and declare that blacks are citizens of the USA because the term other persons of the U.S. Constitution refers to slaves. But au contraire, mon frere. But the 13th, man, you need to quit. But the 13th Amendment abolished slavery, right? Right? Oh no. Okay. Okay. And or the Dred Scott decision was replaced by the 14th Amendment, and or the Assert Amendment specifically eliminated the 3/5 formula. What amendment was that? You tell me. What these? I ain't checked it yet. What these fair servants of the courts will not tell their clients is that no constitutional laws have ever been handed down by Congress to teach back the later 2/5 necessary to make the free slave into a whole person. Because a person must be made consciously. They must be made consciously whole before he or she can become a citizen, have the rights of a citizen, and be subject to the jurisdiction of a citizen. Everyone, I do mean everyone, anywhere on the planet Earth, has all 5/5 and are whole except you know who. The Negro, Black, Colored, the African American, the so-called blacks made in America, and the Siddhis of India. The 13th Amendment only abolished physical slavery, but left psychological, mental slavery in full effect. And this violates the 2/5, the right of mind, the soul of the 5 gifts from the Creator. Speaking of one's right mind, it reminds me of how Christianized Negro, blacks, and color will pray to a God. Don't you touch my Jesus, and have a picture of Caesar Borgia, Serapis Christos on the wall, because that's all it is. And thank him for waking you up in the morning. But don't thank your brother and sister in the flesh. That's sad. That's sad. With the ratification of the 13th Amendment, the enslavement of human bodies is now legally enforced on criminals, duly convicted. I'm just telling you what it is. So the 13th Amendment merely closed the door of slavery in the South, which was without power at that time, and then it opened the jails and the gates of the U.S. courts. I'm telling you, President Lincoln also said, my people do not want them. Who is them? The slaves, to become citizens. If I could unite my country without freeing the slaves, I would do that. He was actually expressing a European national sentiment. No true red-blooded American wanted to free the slaves. Although the ratification of the original 13th Amendment with its full 20 sections did not reach fruition, it is still of the utmost importance for its historical adjudication before the 1864 U.S. Congress to be known to African descendants, especially because of one, the enactment of these laws was all about the emancipation and freedom of their recent grand forefathers. And two, when the full Senate vote on passing the 13th Amendment was yeas 38 and nays 7, the U.S. slave population was 98% illiterate, and not one of them was present to represent themselves as a people. And now all this time later, we can read, and you still gonna get behind some 14th Amendment stuff. You still gonna get behind some blackness and talk about some reparations, and black has no standing in law. That's stupid. Still today, we still gonna have all these meetings, everybody gonna be paying all this money and still gonna fall on deaf ears. And none of these people talk about the Declaration of Human Rights, Article 15, House Joint Resolution 75. The SF 181 form pertaining to ethnicity, 1838, the colored man's freedom, all this stuff that I'm talking about, liberation, what I'm talking about now. And then you got these people talking about we some 14th Amendment slaves. They can now know what their grandfathers could not have known. The following information can be found in the U.S. Library of Congress, or the 1885 book called The Great Conspiracy by John Logan. I got all this for you. It's right in our face, but our people are lost due to a lack of knowledge because we retarded. Excuse my candor. Here is one of the proposals of the 13th Amendment with the full 20 sections. It's in there. I don't have enough time to read them. The 14th and the 15th Amendment. It's needless power. I warn people, our prophet warned people of this crap. We knew it was going to happen because our people don't study. It was no need for the applications of no stupid 14th and no stupid 15th Amendment for the salvation of my people. Because in 1865 and 70, I already broke it down, the amendments, and have made the determination that the 14th, the 15th Amendment is the sneakiest document of re-enslavement that ever been written, because the 14th Amendment alone is so crippling and devastating until it later transformed every U.S. citizen from ignorant sugar cubes to corporate sheets known as straw man within 60 years of the ratification of that bill. The power of the South had been its slaves until losing the Civil War. I told y'all, what was the hidden cause of the Civil War? If you had a tittle of black blood in you, you was a Negro. That's why the book by Tinsler cost so much on Amazon. I got them. The 1863 military strategy of the Emancipation Proclamation And the 1870 Negro Voters' Rights Amendment provided the Southern states were powerless without slaves. Ali said the 14th and the 15th Amendment brought the North and the South into union. It did. I'm telling you, we can go so deep with this science, man. And as I close, African Americans today will never have true rights. The misnomer of Negro, Black, and colored being the names of denationalized human property were never designed to have rights. As labeled property, the misnomer Negro, Black, and colored can never, ever, 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 ever have true rights, because all rights are contingent upon universal, natural, and or civil laws. Before there can be rights, there must first be what? Laws from which rights derive their strength. And since the Negro does not have a constitution, when Negro, we're going to overthrow the Constitution, go sit down, or laws of autonomy from which to govern itself, he or she cannot have lawful rights. And these Negro, I want to expatiate from the de facto. Well, let them do that. They considered as domestic terrorists, foreign and abroad. This is why the great Dred Scott decision of 1857 stated, and I quote, that the Negro has no rights that the true Christians are bound to respect. Negro, Black, colored, African American, put it all in the same boat. And this divine and civil law was ratified in the 14th Amendment under the word persons. See, this is the trick. Negroes ain't reading. I done told you what the word persons. That's why if I was in the court of law, man, the referee, the judge, he'd be like, well, I can rest my case and it will be no rebuttal. Why? Because I've proven it. That's how. And sealed in its section 4, which states in essence that Negroes, AKA persons, whether free, see, this is a fact, whether free or what? Slave, what you have, no rights to compensation or reparations. So we black, we finna, Negro, they finna have no rights. You finna get caught up in litigation. You finna pay these Negro attorneys. They know it, they playing the game. I done told you. They know this. Negroes, AKA persons, whether free or slave, have no rights to compensation or reparations. See, this shit should be going viral, but it ain't, because why? Negroes scared, and you should be liberated because the truth has no size. We playing a dangerous game. These Negroes, we know law. I done broke down law. The divine and civil law was ratified in the 14th Amendment under the word persons. Look at the trickery. And sealed in its section 4, which stated in essence, and I quote eloquently with a silver tongue, Negroes, in parentheses, persons, whether free or slave, have no rights to compensation or reparations. So here the Negro, we want reparations. Black Lives Matters. You a joke. And you know it. And only Negroes promulgating that crap. You should be done with them. With the $5 Indians, why are we worried about them? All we got to do is what the law tell us. I'm in favor with reparations, just as you are. Still, this stately restitution is only reserved from constituted governments for what? Atrocities imposed against another recognized nation. And we annex our L and Bay to connect us to the what? Nations of the world. Tribe and or family bearing the same free national name. By design, the misnomer Negro, Black, and colored is neither of these. To avoid paying reparations until the de facto 14th Amendment recycled being of Negro, Black, and colored slaves, because you don't know the 5 free tribes is the El, the Bays, the Days, the Ali, and you know the other one. What I say? The Bays, the El, the Day, the Ali. What else? The Day. The American is nothing short of a title of ownership and assumable jurisdiction of the free nation of people brought forth by Congress in the 13th Amendment. First, the misnomer Negro, Black, and colored must be free as a people, bearing one free national name. Then and only then will we or they be able to claim rights, which will draw its powers from their own constituted laws and principles. See, y'all got to remember that the Negro, Black, and colored will remain as chattel and without rights. They can only function under granted privileges, as demonstrated shamelessly with the 15th Amendment, that voting privilege amendment. It has been the existing condition since the 3/5 clause of 1779. That's why today's graduate lawyers of the ABA exam would argue with you that the 3/5 clause and the Dred Scott decision were overruled by the 14th Amendment. But albeit, watch this, they will lose this case. Watch this, when examining how the same slave labels of Negro, Black, and colored that lawfully began in 1779 are still certified as state-owned property today, all this time later. That's how they done. They done. There is not a rightful law on earth that can make a citizen from a mold design to produce the shapes of property. And African Americans, etc., being another misnomer in the egg slot of slave labels, are exclusively only made here in America. Only people that are going to get reparations for a slave is the person that created you. This is why privileges granted to property should never be misconstrued as being the same as true rights earned by citizens of a free national government. See, I can talk about the 15th Amendment, all that too. That's the last Reconstruction Amendment. It resulted from the great right of suffrage. Remember I told y'all about the suffrage, Southern Belle, cutting the Asiatic woman hair? It's in the book, America in Black and White. In school, they got the book 1776 and they whitewashed Peter Salmon and Oliver Cromwell out the history books. But in the book, America in Black and White by a European, I played the videos and all this on my page. I'm telling y'all. But yeah, the last Reconstruction, which is the 15th Amendment, resulted from the great right of suffrage. Amendment gave guaranteed voting power to the free male Negro slave, but it was not because America so loved her only slave that it gave them the right to vote as all other citizens. Quite the contrary. Listen to this. After the assassination of Lincoln, the South began pouring representative money, influential filibusters, lobbyists into Washington with intent to remain. Because remember, before we were Republican, the Democratic, it's a book called America in Black and White. America in Black and White. I recommend y'all to get it. I'm telling you, it don't cost that much. And then get the book that they give all the college students that's taking civics 1776, how they whitewash Peter Salmon and Oliver Cromwell out the history books. And that's just two. Whitewashed them right out of the history books. And you're going to believe something and believe somebody here to help you. And I'm your brother that's educated, that's anointed, that stood in the belly of the beast, that talked just like this in academia and graduated with honors. Please, man. And my heart is pure. But lobby, okay, blah, blah, blah. As a shrewd political maneuver, the Union staged the nation's first voter registration drive. In most southern states, South Carolina, Alabama, Mississippi, ex-slaves greatly outnumbered their former masters. That's why I tell y'all, we outnumber everything. You're not minority. So the 15th Amendment was created to give them the power to vote, even though 98% of them, they couldn't read. Just like a lot of Negroes now, brag, I dropped out of school in the 3rd grade. Well, you clearly don't know law. You clearly ain't going to read a book that's 400 pages and on page 218, it might have all the science there because you want to look at pictures. The Negro weight of the political South was used against itself, and these Trojan votes restored sovereign power to the United Union States. In short, property was used to defeat itself. Citizens of the U.S. were guaranteed the right to vote in the very first article of the Constitution, Article 1, Section 2, Clause 1. Therefore, the 15th Amendment was purely for the purpose of pacifying a segment of civilian populace in that time. And this was why the 13th, the 14th, the 15th Amendment are all prompted by the government to quell some form of civil unrest. This form of government tactic is not new due to the instability of the public, especially in a culturally diverse country like America. Granted privileges are a necessary deterrent to civil revolts by the hoi polloi. In historical retrospect, Rome crucified Yahshua according to their laws. You know, Rome, they were roaming around. Just like, listen, you don't got to believe me. The second president of Egypt, Nasser, he said the reason why Israel is cursed is because God's people left black and came back white. You fact check me on that. They were roaming around, finding a place to devour and eat up. like a lion. You don't got to believe me. But in historical respect, Rome crucified Yahshua according to their laws, not because he was guilty, because Caiaphas of the Jewish Sanhedrin had threatened massive destruction to the city and Pilate's palace if their demand wasn't met. 1,800 years later, in almost an identical scenario, Lincoln, as executive chief and commander of the military, had to do what was best to save America. And I don't want to stay in all that. You know, it's so much behind this Reconstruction law. I'm telling y'all, for all my brothers that's some Prince Hall Masons, I love y'all. I love all y'all. But I ain't finna let nobody lie no more. All our brothers that's Nation of Islam Muslims trying to act like you don't know what I'm talking about, and this was brought out to the Nation of Islam. Oh, I'm gonna end it with this right here. It was brought to the Nation of Islam, so y'all know what the hell I'm talking about. You know. If you don't, you playing a deadly game. Because that masonry is all in the shallow grave of Harem Mabith. When I talk about masonry, when they buried you in the shallow grave, Jabal, Jabloom, and Jablim. You had two harems. One was from Tyre. And a lot of people would be pissed when you knowing this. But I'm here to show you, you know, what's going on. You know, a black political hostage is a state of encompassment. It is the state of unnatural existence. It's like on a Wizard of Oz. If I had a brain, if I had a heart, you ain't got none of that. You're a tin man. It's fake, fictitious, which is seen by masses. Yet is largely unnoticed due to its obscure definition. In essence, this state of subsistence is the colorable, legalized enslavement of a nation of people. Hell, here in the U.S., to reveal this phenomena, it's necessary to dissect the words black, political, and the word hostage. Black is only a word, not a color, which according to science mean deaf, void of light, absent of life. Machination of a Mayan people. Political, practice, influences of a government, anything pertaining or relating to the policy or administration of government, state, national. When I showed y'all what a state is, what a principality, what a school is, based how the temple was set up, and we still not listening. The exercise, when I talk about words, are synonymous and have synonyms. The exercise of the fundaments of the functions vested in those charged with the conduct of the government to control its public policy, the exercising of governmental powers, hostage, any person, family, tribe, national, or people, once free, now captured, usually kidnapped from one alien origin, held against his or her will, with freedom and or life or service to stand as ransom or secretary. I'm telling y'all, man, like, I don't even know what else to say. This black political hostage began with the transfer of slave ownership from powerless Southerners to constitutional fold of government for the restoring U.S. and the United States. Most people, especially the Negro, black, and color, assume that either the Emancipation Proclamation or the 13th and the 14th Amendment freed the slaves and made them citizens. But in fact, these documents enacted during the 5-year period from 1865 to 1870 did not free them from unconditionally, but merely transferred them as property from one owner to another, from the Southern rebellious Confederate states to throughout every state within the Union, United States. And meanwhile, it is true that the 13th Amendment did in fact abolish the institution of slavery in the U.S. However, it's also equally true that no one told the new freely people they were now a nation. And the law only brought temporary harmony and satisfaction between the Scottish and the York rights in both the North and the South when I'm talking Freemasonry. So I'm gonna stop right there, man. I will stop right there. I mean, I don't know what my brothers and sisters promulgating for, and we a nation of laws. I love all my brothers and sisters. I shared books with y'all. I shared all the stuff. Y'all can get all this literature from me and history. I don't know why we complaining. There's no reason to. So thank everyone that gave the donations and taking time to listen to me today. I shared all those books. When people want to talk about it's black history and all they talking about is some slave history, I don't want to hear that. If we're going to talk about something, let's talk about this. Let's talk about white cargo from all love. If that's all we're gonna talk about, is some stuff that ain't even a real part of history. Let's get the one world Tartarians and see about that transatlantic slave trade and see what it's all about. Let's talk about the white slave or the Russian peasant girl. Revelations in Russia. It's 3 volumes. Let's talk about that. These are all books that I have, that I lectured on. Let's talk about the white slave, another picture of slave life in America. All these ancient books. Let's talk about it. Oh, well. No, ain't no well. What you afraid of? What you afraid of? The seamstress of the white slave of England. The seamstress of the white slave of England. This white slave market. They were white and they were slaves. And then I got the history of the Arab slave trade of the Africans. When these Negroes are going to try to play this stuff because they don't know their history. Oh, the Moors is these. No, fool. That was the Arabic slave trade of the Africans. You research that for all these Muslims and talk about. I thought all Muslims prayed together. That was the Arabic slave trade. Well, the slave trade of the Africans. And then we can deal with Leopold. Leopold had those Africans put on their military uniforms and the fez. Leopold used that as his army uniform. That's the only excuse you retarded Negroes got. You're not historical. You're always trying to make excuse not to go with your brother. And Europeans, they fall together. They ain't gonna go out the house arguing. But that's what Negroes do because they don't like themselves. They try, well, the more killed African. Fool, you talk about King Leopold history in the Congo. When Leopold took over, he put them out. He said, either your ass gonna die or you're gonna be in my regiment. Most of the Negroes was gonna die. It was more Negro or Moors or native to the land than any of that. So don't come to me with that crap. Negroes will sell themselves out in 1.2 seconds. So when you hear these pro-Africans or these Negroes think they know history, when the Moors killed the Africans, so no, the hell they didn't. When you talk about that history of King Leopold, and then I can show you Hitler and his regiment, and they were the feds too, and they studied the Quran. So what we talking about? We're gonna talk about all history. We're not gonna let nobody get a part of history and say, well, and say this is all that. Like a group of Negroes ain't killing each other today. Like Negroes ain't killing each other today. Like Negroes ain't on the internet banging on each other. Like Negroes be having. The first thing Negroes want to do is compete. I'm finna stun on these Negroes. All negative energy. Oh, I'm finna stun on these Negroes. I'm finna get this guy. I'm finna stunt. I'm finna show these niggas. It's all stunt. I'm finna show them how I do. Ain't nobody finna. It's all competition. And we're gonna let somebody come to us instead of coming together with solidarity with that bull crap. And our own people come with that crap. You would sell out your own mama. Trying to put everything in one part of history. Stop the cap. That was King Leopold. And just like in the Congo with Patrice Lumumba, his own people sold him out. Research the assassination of Patrice Lumumba. It's all on YouTube. See what happened. All them Belgians couldn't do nothing. And really, they tried to assassinate Patrice Lumumba until his own people traded him. That's what be happening in that situation. They ain't have to do that. And the same way with the situation when people just be trying to control history. No. Okay, King Leopold took over the Congo. Now, did them brothers come together and fight? Some of them might have died. They were cutting the black gold. They were cutting them people's hand off. And Leopold used the fez and that as the army uniform. Fact check me. And that's the first thing we're going to say. Okay, well, what about all these people in the continent of Africa, all these militias been killing each other from day one? We ain't going to say nothing about that. Huh? And all people in the continent of Africa militia, they fighting and all this stuff. And brother, right now, Crips and Bloods, you got retarded old Negroes. I know old Negroes my age. I'm 48, still talking about they big crippin'. Don't understand, boy, those signs and symbols belong to us, but they done messed our mentality up and got us gang banging on each other. That's what Jeff Ford and them were trying to do. They just got polluted with the Al Ruka. They got polluted. And I be seeing old Negroes that be liking my stuff that I know, talking all this stuff, and then they want to show old pictures with them gang banging with bandanas with guns. What's that about? That's why I be saying, I think a lot of these Negroes retarded, and then they just got older. This ain't no disrespect. Yeah, a lot of these men just got older. They still retarded. I know a lot of these Negroes talk about they gang banging and all this, and I say, man, all that stupid stuff over with it should be over. I don't want to hear none of that. And so I love everybody. I give gratitude. Thanks for supporting. If anybody need anything, y'all got my information. My office number is 602-473-8767. If you want to give a donation, my Zelle is connected to that. Leave me an email, Goodman, GOODMANKHARY @gmail.com. Anybody give donations, I'm going to give you literature. Hit me up. I'm getting ready to go on somebody else's platform. I'm not going to record it because they asked me not to. They were like, well, no, we don't want it to be shared. And I tell people, we be missing it. And we can do the same thing that other people do. And I'm telling y'all, so my people are lost due to a lack of knowledge because we refuse to learn. We can't say we don't know. And I'm right here. I love y'all, man. Gratitude for everything and gratitude for y'all time. Peace, 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 peace. Oh, this was given out to the Nation of Islam. I'll talk about this tomorrow. I love y'all, man. Peace. Hey, babe.